everyone, I'm Jay.
And I'm Sean.
And we watched a movie.
Yeah.
It's actually been a fairly good week in terms of Netflix releases. In terms of the volume of Netflix releases, maybe not the quality.
Well, 1 out of 2 is better than we've been getting recently.
Yes, true enough. So first let's talk about The Kissing Booth 2. That's right, the highly anticipated sequel to 2018's breakout hit, The Kissing Booth 1.
Which you loved.
You loved.
I guess I must have.
Nobody loved it. I actually reread my review from 2 years ago, and I hardly said anything about the movie besides the fact that I would rather eat my own toenails than watch it again. So, luckily I have a terrible memory, and I didn't remember quite how much I hated it. I knew I did not like it. So I went into this movie with as clean
as slate,
as open a mind as I possibly could have. The only feature of a forgetful mind. And my review of this one ended up being more positive than the last one. Although I am not at all sure if I can actually attribute that to the movie.
Or desperation?
Exactly. Yeah. In these times, I feel like I am being a lot more lenient on movies because there's just nothing to compare them to. Yeah. You know, normally Netflix has to compete with movies that are in theaters, movies that have been, you know, spent years in development and millions of dollars just in advertising. And now that's all there is. Yeah. So we have to be thankful for the crumbs that they give us. And this one is a crumb. It's not the cake. I mean, unless you're like, I don't know, a 12 or 13-year-old girl. I think that there is a demographic for this. Obviously there is, because somebody watched it enough the first time to warrant a sequel. And Joey King has certainly, you know, raised her profile. So she's a pretty heavy hitter in terms of Netflix tween movies. Not maybe as big as Noah Centineo.
Well, who is really though?
Well, who is? That's right. So, Sean, if you don't remember the first one,
I don't.
The title does give away the entirety of the plot. So, Elle and Lee are best friends. So, Elle is played by Joey King, of course, and Lee by Joel Courtney. And they're best friends, even though they're a boy and a girl, and they always have been. And their friendship has a lot of rules. I don't know if you and your best friend made a lot of rules growing up.
No, zero.
Okay.
None.
We didn't have rules either, I don't think. Like,
no, we
but
just
these two
agreed to be friends.
Yeah.
It was just implied.
Yeah. I don't even remember agreeing to be friends with anyone. It was just like, well, these are the people you play with until someone better comes along. Or the bell rings. But these people made a pact, and then they start writing rules. And there are a lot of rules, I should say. But the one that comes into play, because this is high school, is the never date my sibling rule. Which seems like a super unfair rule because she has a little brother and he has a big brother.
I see where.
So I feel like this was a very one-sided rule, and it also kind of feels like that rule maybe is the reason why she's had a crush on Lee's big brother this whole time. So Noah is Lee's opposite, really. He is a bad boy, heartthrob, you know, and nerdy little Elle and Lee can't hang out in his circles normally. But for some odd reason, they, for a fundraiser at school, do this kissing booth. And yeah, love blossoms. So I hated this movie, apparently from a lot of feminist issues with this movie. I really couldn't get on board. Even though they tried to bribe me with Molly Ringwald playing the mom.
Oh, I do think I remember this movie now.
Yeah. So anyways, fast forward, now here we are at number 2. Elle and Noah were of course together by the end of number 1. They have now spent a glorious, loved up summer together.
Okay, so we're next fall.
Yeah. And he's
story.
going off to college.
Oh, devastating.
Yes. So he's going all the way over to Harvard.
And they're in California, I guess?
Yeah.
That's always how it is.
It is. Also, like another one of the rules for the two friends is that you always have to go to the same school. So they have always dreamed of going to UCLA at Berkeley. But now Noah is like, why don't you come to the Boston area?
Uh-oh.
Ooh. So that's a secret that festers between the two friends. And also festering is that Lee has also fallen in love with somebody who is at their high school and finds that Elle is a very intrusive third wheel.
Oh no.
So that's festering, although Elle is weirdly oblivious to that feeling.
It is strange that she would be oblivious to it.
Yes. I mean, I think maybe she thinks the girlfriend is the third wheel. And unfortunately, the rules just didn't cover this.
That's a real shortcoming when
Yes.
we're having all these rules
There's so
about
many
school,
rules.
but
Yeah.
we're not having one about interfering in relationships.
Yeah. So there's that. Also, a little inconvenient nugget is that there is a hot new guy at school. Marco. Played by Taylor Perez. And I mean, this guy's got abs for days. He's, immediately the talk of the school and, a big get for the kissing booth if they can land him.
Oh, they're going to do the kissing booth again.
Of course they are. The kissing booth too. This time it plays much less of a role in the actual proceedings of the movie. It's just like an excuse to keep the franchise going.
The franchise. I love it.
So yeah, like I don't know if number 3, if they have to take this to college or what.
Number 3 is going to go to Tokyo, just like Fast and Furious.
Right, that's
how it's going to be.
Yeah,
and it might be a prequel.
Okay. Interesting.
So stay tuned.
Yeah. So there's a cute boy that's close and her boyfriend that's far away, and she's trying to be a good girlfriend. She thinks maybe she needs to give him space. I think she's assuming that they're going to break up because it's long distance and he's going to be surrounded by co-eds. But, even in her attempt to play cool, she's kind of stalking him on Instagram and then stalking all of his friends on Instagram, and one of his friends is like a supermodel. So that's tough,
Yeah.
jealousy and distance.
Yeah, that is tough.
They're pretty rough, yeah. What are you gonna do?
Well, I guess she could go to Harvard and surprise him.
Yes, I like how you're thinking, and so does the person who wrote this movie. Sean hasn't seen it, by the way.
I haven't seen it.
And yet, he's seen it.
Well, I mean, originality is not the hallmark of these movies.
It's certainly not. But I know one twist that you will have not predicted.
Okay.
Because it turns out Harvard is a little more expensive than the state school.
Oh, imagine that.
Yeah, and Noah and Lee come from a quite wealthy family. I'm not sure what Molly Ringwald does for a living, but...
Well, she's an actor.
Yes, thank you. But to make up the tuition difference, she's got a plan, and it's not the kissing booth because that's a school fundraiser. She's going to enter and win a Dance Dance Revolution contest.
Okay,
Bam.
yeah, I would never have guessed that.
That's right. So,
I mean, it's a Dance Dance Revolution. I guess it must still exist.
I guess so. It's not called that technically in the movie,
all right,
but that's what it is.
That. Yeah.
Yeah, so she and Lee have, of course, been masters of this arcade game at their local arcade, which is a thing that exists.
Yeah.
And they have had their name on the top score for years until suddenly that score gets beaten.
By Marco?
Yeah, spoiler alert.
Yeah.
It was totally Marco. They never saw it coming because his initials are MVP.
Oh.
But
nice.
Spoiler alert, his middle name is Valentin.
Oh.
Okay. So then Lee comes down with a twisted ankle and You know, you'll never see it coming.
Does
No.
Marco have to sub in?
He subs in. He does.
Why is it a duo Dance Revolution?
Yeah, and
'Cause that's
freestyle
not-
with choreography they come up with themselves. Yeah.
Because that's how the game
For
works.
sure. I love, like, when they're at the competition and they're getting, like, points for accuracy, and I'm like, how does the game know how accurate you are?
Yeah.
It makes no sense.
This makes no sense.
But, I mean, it does get a little dirty dancing-ish. It's a little hot
boy.
and steamy.
Oh, wow. Under the spotlight of the Dance Revolution
Oh, boy.
contest.
Yeah.
With the prize money enough to pay
50
Harvard
grand.
tuition?
So no, especially
Well,
not
still
split
not.
two ways.
Yeah.
It is a lot of money, and yet it is not
Not
even enough for one
No.
year. I don't think she knows about money or about how to get it in realistic ways. But that's the least of her problems. It's gonna be a miracle if she can even get through high school.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like she's going to be able to get into Harvard.
Well, that also is a plot point. Don't worry, there are other schools around Boston. It doesn't have to be Harvard.
Oh, yeah, I have heard that.
Yeah.
There might be one or two.
A couple, yeah. Boy, so this is what we're dealing with. And I mean, the rest of the activities where she's basically third wheeling it. I mean, there's some crazy, like, stuff I didn't really knew existed in real life, like three-legged races. Like, where does that happen when you're a teenager?
No, it doesn't. That's like a church picnic when you're 6.
Yes!
And you do it with your parent.
Oh my gosh.
Not with your love interest and your best friend. Mm-hmm. Is it a 3-person three-legged race?
Well, guess you'll have to
I'll
watch
have
it
to
to
watch
find
it to
out,
find
Sean.
out.
Yeah, we can't tell you all
This
the
is
goodies.
very intriguing.
Gotta leave something for her. Anyways, you know what? I'm not going to shame anyone out of watching this movie. It's
No, what
actually
else
not
do you
terrible.
have? Yeah.
I think it is an improvement over the first one. It's a little more adult.
Ooh.
They've grown up a little over this steamy summer. And yeah, I mean, to me, like, it made me feel super old because it made me realize, like, how much we ask of young people. Like, she's 17 years old and it's like, should I move across the country? Should I put myself in debt? Should I follow a boy or stay for a boy who are brothers? Like, that's a lot. And also, like, pick a major, decide what you're gonna do for the rest of your life and how you're gonna make money and if that'll make you happy. Yeah, that's a lot for a 17-year-old who thinks Dance Revolution is the answer to any problem. Like, that should never be the solution to anything. She does not have the critical thinking skills necessary for making these huge life decisions, and yet we do entrust them to basically decide map out their entire adult lives based on really stupid decisions.
Yeah. We did it.
Yep. We did.
Turned out all right.
I mean, yeah.
Eventually.
Eventually it did. I did go to school for a boy.
Yeah. And not this one.
No. Nope.
And here we are.
And here we are.
It worked out.
Eventually. Sometimes the lessons you need to learn are not in the classroom.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. But you should still go.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, I don't know. Is this a good movie? Not in the real world.
It's a movie.
Not in the real world, it's not. But we're not in the real world anymore. The real world is still on pause.
Totally on pause.
On pause. So we are, you know, in this
In the bubble.
limbo, in the bubble. That is the best word for it.
And every once in a while, Netflix will break through.
Yeah. It'll tease you into thinking you're getting a movie. And you're like, yay! And then you watch it and you're like,
Yeah.
this did nothing to break the monotony of my existence.
Well, and then there's the kissing booth too.
Yep. And they did eventually get to the kissing booth, but it was really,
I mean,
it was really an afterthought. I felt it was really tacked on there.
Yeah, I mean, this could be sort of a Die Hard
they
situation.
were even bored by it. Even the script was like, we don't want to waste any time on this because, you know, she's gonna get there to give her speech, and then they're just going to like cut her off and be like, no, we pre-approved you. And yeah, and then the only hiccup, because here's the thing about a kissing booth, it's really kind of heteronormative.
Yeah.
And so the script still does not know how to deal with that, because there is like a questioning person who's going to be doing some kissing, and he has to like leave the booth to go kiss the boy.
Oh.
So it didn't know how to handle that, and so it didn't. It was really took the coward's way out, which was disappointing. So yeah, it's still not quite 2020 material. It's yeah.
Well, let's not even get into the 2020 implications of a COVID kissing booth.
No friggin' kidding, eh? Back in my day, we gave each other mono. I also got that from a boy. Not
It
that
happens, not this one.
One. Not that one. My grandma called me a slut.
Grandma.
Yeah.
How rude.
Well, we just put her in a home. So karma.
Oh, revenge.
Yes, that's right. Sometimes it takes a minute or two, but as long as she kept hanging around, it was gonna come one of these days. So yes, she's currently isolating in her new home, and I don't even think they have Netflix there, so they will not be watching The Kissing Booth, although she and my grandfather just celebrated 69 years together this week.
Unbelievable.
Yes, they are just waiting to see who dies first. And
It's
both of
getting
them hope it's
competitive.
my grandmother.
Yeah.
And so does my mom. Anyways, that took a turn.
Yes, it did.
Let us know if you watched The Kissing Booth and how you got through it. Because I know you need to be able to cope through a movie like this and just throw out all of your anxieties and all of your brain cells.
Expectations.
Well, yeah. And just embrace it for, every generation needs a stupid romance, and this is definitely a stupid romance.
That's great.
Fair?
Fair, I think. I mean, I haven't seen it, but sounds like it's right.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks for watching, everyone. Bye.